Today's June 24th, 2015. We are at Lake Ozette in the Olympic National Park on the Olympic Peninsula. Time is 9:24. Here we are on the Alava Peninsula, the westernmost contiguous spot in the United States. Here we are at the ranger station, the information booth, and the restaurant. Oh, here we are at the tidal chart. Today's June 24th, so 12:41 p.m. is the low tide. So here's the trail we're going to take to Cape Alava, up to Cannonball Island, the westernmost contiguous place in the United States. Not much water in the river. Here's the trail to the right to Cape Alava.
There are two islands out there, one immediately to the right that at low tide you can walk to. You got rocks and marsh and stuff to get through, but you can get to it. The other one, which is straight ahead, looks like you could wade to, but I don't think it's ever, when we saw it at low tide, it was never completely clear, so it'll be more difficult to get to.
Did you see the petroglyphs?
No, we didn't. Okay. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for the guidance.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We saw a lot of decimated forest on our journey here, and thank goodness now that we're in the national forest, there's no more logging, and there's some old growth trees. Look at this one. As you look around, there's not too many of these big trees. We just came across this tree here. It looks like it's dead, but it gives you an idea of how big the trees were in the old day. Look at the base of it. Here's another example of old growth. Looks like cedar. I'd like to hug this tree, but I just can't quite get my arms around it. We can see the trail's in pretty good shape, but it looks like some improvement here, some railroad ties. And the bridge. We have an elevated trail here. We're just noticing the ferns, the beautiful ferns. Let's say about it. Although the trail has been pretty flat, we're seeing some changes in elevation here, as you notice from this staircase.
Shot.
Well, ferns are a distinguishing characteristics of the Northwest, particularly in western Washington and here on the Olympic Peninsula. These are particularly stunted, not the big ferns that we see in other parts of Washington, perhaps due to the marine layer. We've been walking for 30 minutes. At best, we probably just made it 1/3 to the coast, 1/3 way to the coast. We just found some mushroom growing along here on this tree. Probably not edible, but we don't know the name of it. And there's a huge one down here on the ground. Off the boardwalk here, we found something what we believe is a lichen. Knock, knock, who's home? And look at the water, it's filled with tannins. Here's the salal plant growing up around this tree. And here are the berries. And it's all edible. Well, here we are at an opening, and there's a different kind of fern here, just the ones I was talking about that are more prolific in western Washington. They're not as dense as the smaller ferns that we noticed. All this is probably due to elevated sunlight. Here we are exactly 1 hour in, and we figure maybe another 30 minutes until we hit the beach. We have another opening here. New kind of plant. I don't know what it is. Something is flowering. See the bees? This area was really logged. The new growth trees coming in. There's a lot more boardwalk than we anticipated. It would be nice to know that these trees that were sacrificed eventually became the boardwalk here. Well, look at that. Here's a cache of boards that's probably used for the trail maintenance. Here we are coming to another larger clearing. And the clearings that we passed along the way through western Washington to get here had stumps all over, and we're not noticing any stumps, so when they did the clearing, they did a much better job. Also, you never know, yesterday was brilliant sunshine on the beach, and like western Washington's unpredictable when those clouds and rain is going to come in. Our first butterfly. We're starting to doubt whether the trees were really harvested here, but it looks like we've come across a stump. It looks overgrown, So it could be that there's many stumps that are overgrown with the algae. Here we are in the growth season, and you can see that the trails get overgrown, and we appreciate all the Park Service workers that come out and keep these trails nice and trim for us. Here we are almost an hour and a half into our walk at 3.1 mile, and here's a resting station. We're going to move on. After passing through all those clearings, we're back to the old growth forest. Yeah. We are exactly at 1 hour 30 minutes. We hear the ocean waves in the background, slightly, faintly, and we can't smell the ocean yet, but we're getting closer. We encounter another clearing at our hour and a half point. It'll be a long climb back up. 1 hour 40 minutes, and you can start to hear the roar. It's getting louder. Very vital here with all this green, this deep, rich green. One hour, 44 minutes. You can start to smell the salt of the ocean. As we get closer to the ocean, we notice more bird calls. I notice as we're getting closer to the ocean, there's more bird calls out here. And as we were in the center of the forest, it was almost dead silent. See this fern here? This is what we see more in other parts of Western Washington. El Pacifico. Right. Someone has conveniently put a rope here. Oh. Probably for pulling yourself up. Here we are, exactly 2 hours in. Here's a little top hat. Well, it looks like Cannonball is over here. So we met several people on the trail that actually come down here on camp and spend the night, and they wait for the tide to come out.
That rock looks like a sea lion
I'd say it looks like a breaching whale.
or a breaching whale. And that one looks like a bird of prey or maybe a beaver. And then one of several islands that you may be able to wade out to here at Alava Point.
Here's an abandoned ranger station, Macaw Ozette Ranger Station, which are Indian tribes, Macaw and Ozette.
Hi, my name is Eli Wade. We just went on Cannonball Island.
And what are you looking for?
We're trying to find starfish because my mom cut a marine biologist hair that said this year's the last year you can find starfish here. And I'm trying to find a ginormous comb that can brush up all the sea creatures.
And you're saying you haven't found
You're gonna
one?
comb the beach, huh, for a starfish?
Yeah, basically.
How about Mom?
Okay.
Any comments?
Oh, so we're gonna check out the ranger station right now. And we hear there are tons of treasures at the Nia Bay Museum. So we want to see where it all came from. There is rumor too that there's a burial ground around here. So we're curious about that too. Oh, and my name's Megan.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
There's not one but two cannonballs. 1, 2, and here we are at the western most contiguous point in the United States.
Yay!
We are now at the foot of Cannonball. You can see where the tide is coming right up to these streets here. And then it becomes an island again.
And we're having to clamber over rocks to circumnavigate the Cannon Island. And we're facing the second Cannonball Island, which we presumably is due west of the first one, and even at low tide is clearly an island. Meanwhile, if we look off towards the Macaw Peninsula, we can see that we're probably a little further west than it is. And if we look Further south, we're not seeing anything except maybe rocks off in the distance. That thumb rock that we saw early in some of the filmography.
And we can hear the sea lions barking out on that island.
So, barring walking out, clambering over rocks to get further west, we're about as far out as is really achievable from the contiguous 48 states.
The time is 12:15. We've been hiking for 2 hours, 41 minutes, and behind me is second Cannonball Island. We've concluded our hike.